back in 2012 said, come along, we'll build this world ourselves. A ship, a gun, a life to make your own. In this vast, starry space, you won't be alone. But months turn to years, and years turn to cries. They call the next update, look up to the skies. They show us the stars, but they shift in the night. Promises fade, out of mind, out of sight. The CIG, you got us waiting still. On dreams and code, on patches and thrill. You say it's coming and pull back again. A quarter a year, when does this road end? We're chasing stars, but just a drifting dialogue, peering into the dark of this eternal backlog. Remember the talk of a grand campaign, Squadron 42 coming soon, all the same. But soon turns to someday, and hype to doubt. Another dream stalls, leaving us without. We've seen plans vanish, seen features fail. Once promised to be ours, now hollow halls. A promise in hand, but they drifted astray. About to the whispers, fame of the day. Oh, CIG, you got us waiting still. On dreams and code, on patches and thrill. You say it's coming and pull back again. A quarter a year, when does this road end? We're chasing stars, but just a drifting dialogue, peering into the dark of this eternal backlog. But here we stand, with credits in hand, loyal to dreams built on shifting sand. We laugh, we rage, yet still we play, believing perhaps there'll be light one day. So we'll write on each patch, each quarterly slip, build ships in our heads, make ready for trips. They say next time we get there, just hold on tight. But the stars, they seem dimmer with each passing night. Oh, CIG, you got us waiting still. On dreams and code, on patches and thrill. You say it's coming and pull back again. A quarter a year, when does this road end? We're chasing stars, but just a drifting dialogue, peering into the dark of this eternal backlog. So we linger on, under galaxies wide, bound by a promise for this cosmic ride. Through whispers and hopes and visions unclear, we'll play on, keep waiting, year after year.
All right, and we're live, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Captain's Log podcast. This is our first podcast of the year, so welcome to 2025. I've got two crew members here with me, here aboard the H.N.S Watch Tower, patrolling the space lanes of Pyro. We have Krendor, master of cargo and everything logistics, and we have Stompy, our master in the sky, fighter extraordinaire. Welcome, guys.
Howdy. Good to be here.
All right, so today I had a lot going on, so I didn't really have time to prepare. So I decided to dive into Spectrum. I figured that'd be a... You're already in. Oh my gosh.
You told me to try the hand thing, and then I was just sitting there for 5 minutes.
You were
fuck?
already in. You're good.
Yeah,
Anyways,
and then you told me about this new function I had no idea about with this hand raise thing, and I was like, okay, wait a minute, implying I'm gonna go try this, and then I left, which I assumed you would have noticed, and I ended up
No.
just sitting there.
No, I get no notifications. But
well.
anyways, welcome to the live stream, guys. Live stream of 2024. 2025. Jesus.
Off to a good start.
Of course, as always. So anyways, the topic today is we're going through and we're finding salt on Spectrum because There's so much of it.
It's like fucking Utah out there.
Let's see. Let me go ahead and pull up Spectrum real quick. That doesn't look right. I am confused.
Okay, back.
Welcome back.
Why? So I'm trying to pull up Spectrum on my screen real quick, and for whatever reason, like I had it all set up and it looked all nice, and then OBS being OBS decided to go and
Ruh-roh.
ruin it.
As it does.
All right. Almost there. Almost there. There we go. All right. Let's put that up on screen. All right. So, slow start to the broadcast today, guys. Sorry about that. Now we got Spectrum up on screen. So this is the first post I came across for 4.0. The title is, "That's it. I'm out until 4.0 becomes playable. Not question mark? I'm confused." So the guy writes, suffocating, random injury, non-existent hangars and ships, blocked doors, and much, much more that was present in the 3.23 and prior. We enjoyed it a short while until it became more and more painful to watch. Ship sales and events take focus away from player experience. So, goodbye Pipe Dream, hello Arma. What's your guys' take on that?
Hello,
Skill
Arma.
issue.
Well, Arma 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he mean by that? Last time I checked, Arma 3 didn't have quantum drives and spaceships and shit.
You know, let me do. Yeah, I mean it doesn't absolutely. I mean unless you like find the Star Wars mod, I guess, but even then it's still kind of.
Yeah.
In the words of a famous streaming radical, they got soft hands, brother. Honestly, it's a huge mind over matter mentality when playing this game.
It is. I agree.
And I even had a moment a couple days ago where I needed to not add my you could call it bad vibes and bad attitude. So I just called it a night, shut the game off, gave my boys the party lead, and I called it a night there. And if you're in a better mood, go back to doing whatever you're doing in Star Citizen. It's just a game. Find something to cool you off, and you know what? If it's even worse than you thought, take the day off. You know, sometimes servers are a little wonky and weird in regard to them working on different days. So maybe it's just a bad day for all, and you just happen to have the worst of it. But you are not the only one, brother. You are not the only one experiencing these problems.
No.
So don't act like the victim. Take a breather
not.
and do something about it to make your day better, because you are in control of what you do in this game.
So top comment on this post is, at this point we need to add I don't know, 4.0 works perfectly for me to the Golden White Knight collection, alongside the classics of You Don't Understand Game Development and It's Alpha.
Wait, what is White Knight about saying the game works for me?
Yeah,
That makes
Well,
no
sorry.
sense.
that could be a
title,
bait rage or a rage bait thing.
The title is You Don't I don't know, comma 4.0 works perfectly for me, end quote. That's the title. And then
Okay.
he's saying to add that to the Golden White Knight collection, insinuating that there's a bunch of posters or commenters that come on after someone posts something good or something bad, and usually says one of these three things, which is it works perfectly for me, you don't know game development, or it's alpha, deal with it. But
Right. I don't get how saying the game works fine for me is white knighting.
yeah, I don't understand the poster's intent behind that either, but I do think it's funny because I mean, while it doesn't work perfectly for me, out of all the times that I play, I think let me rephrase that. Out of all the people I play with, um, I'm probably one of the few who experiences the least amount of issues, comparatively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
True.
We got a couple commenters in the chat. We got Omega over here saying, "Isn't that the truth?" And yes, I agree. We got Mageless with just faces and Infernal Vortex with more faces. So welcome,
Mhm.
guys. Thank you for watching. So let's see if we can find some more salt in this. Let's see.
I'd be surprised if you couldn't.
I'm just trying to find something worth reading, So this guy says, under most posts discussing 4.0 game breaking issues, there's a couple of comments that people had best Star Citizen experience ever in 4.0, and the game is running super smoothly, and occasionally there are such posts as well. Um, they must be running literally top of the line equipment because that's definitely not my experience, and out of everyone in my org, I probably have the least amount of issues.
I would say, I mean, I hear that and I think, oh, they're just using hyperbole. Like when I
Yeah.
hear someone say the game runs perfectly, I think it just like runs fine, like to an acceptable level.
Mhm.
I'm sure there are bugs they deal with that they don't realize they're bugs.
See if I can find another. Here we go. No, playing 4.0 since it started last week. Averaging 6 or more hours a day. Still in. Yeah, I mean, we've basically. I wouldn't say we've no-lifed it, but I
Sounds
mean,
like a lot of people
it's
lately.
if I can manage to get in the game, play it, make progress. So missions, reputation, mining, refining, um, killing other players. Contested zones are amazing, by the way. I mean, the experience in
Fun.
them aren't as smooth, but contested zones themselves, conceptually, once everything is smooth, mint, wonderful experience.
Hmm. Classic,
Yep.
just like FPFs with like, rewards that benefit the rest of the MMO. It's a very good addition. Just the hit reg is what killed it for me when I went through, because I would be running and like I would get behind cover, but I would get shot like from outside the cover while I was behind it, because the like my hitbox would lag behind me in the server. So like I would be somewhere else on their screen, and like it would just, that kind of thing I don't like. That's the only
Now,
thing about 4.0 for me that made the FPS like kind of rough to deal with. But we were also on a pretty bad shard that day, so.
we've played basically EPTU since it
Hmm.
opened to Wave One. At least I have. Some of you haven't been Wave One, but I know Krendor, I think you are.
I was.
Um, so we've been in this from the worst of it to what was the best of it, and now starting to regress again because they're on holiday and no one's maintaining the servers, and so things are starting to unravel as things do. The longer a server or shard or the longer a patch runs, the faster it unravels.
Yep.
And that's kind of
Yeah.
what we're experiencing right now. But this guy says here, just to just to remind yourself of two things. 4.0 is a PTU build with a slightly different name. Expect a PTU experience because that's what you're gonna get. Now, I haven't played live since the 4.0 preview came out, which is
Me neither.
technically what they call the parallel live, which doesn't make any sense other than the fact that
No.
they've promised it'll
Preview.
carry over. Sorry, they've tentatively promised that it'll carry over. They said they were going to try. And
Yeah.
honestly,
Barring any major issues, whatever that means.
what that really means is, as long as we don't fuck it up by exploiting exponentially, it will carry over.
Yep.
Sound about right?
I don't think anyone's found one of those giant exploits yet. So
I mean, there's one for weapons, but really all that is just a workaround for having to go to different shops. You just buy it on your
right.
own ship. But I
I'm thinking
won't
more of like when people were making 100% profit on C2
everything.
fulls of commodities in Invictus 2 years ago, when
Yeah, that
people
was
were making
pain.
like billions in an afternoon, just
Oh,
reselling.
what about the exploitation that allowed you to buy a single 8th SCU of cargo to get a full SCU?
Yeah, that too.
That was great. I love that one.
Oh yeah.
And of course, there's the bugging your components so it doesn't ever disappear, so you can sell it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Some old classics, but goodies. All right, so
Oldies but goldies.
right. But anyways, yeah, I don't know how the live experience is right now because I haven't been on the live server. I've only been playing 4.0, and that's been like as soon as the EPTU came out, I stopped playing live. I've only been playing 4.0 from EPTU to the preview now, and obviously continuing on into when it merges with live build. So I can't say that live is a better experience, but I can tell you that my experience in 4.0 is, while it's not perfect, it's still very entertaining because there's so much new stuff for me to experience. I like to explore and find all the information about all the locations and stuff like that. So the contested zones was an amazing treasure hunt that we got to unravel and figure out, and I enjoyed the shit out of that.
Mhm.
I have not been watching chat.
Nice.
I'm not used to you guys talking. I'm sorry. Hold on, let me pull this up. So Omega's talking mostly, so he says if it's in PTU, it's like pre-alpha. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then he says some more bugs, though alpha is still buggy. Yeah, that definitely true. And then let's see. Yeah, Omega still hasn't touched it. You should, bud. You should jump in, feel the pain with us. It's that no pain, no gain situation going on right now. You got to take part, man.
Agreed.
Let's see. Major says contested zones were slash are my favorite when it comes to 4.0. I have to agree, they're fun. They're super fun. If you're really an
Mhm.
FPSer, you come from an FPS background, whether that be Arma, whether that be COD, whether that be Battlefield, or any of those other FPSs. Let's see, Fortnite. Well, maybe not Fortnite. Um,
Fortnite. No.
uh, Apex, anything competitive, going into a contested zone with that kind of background, you're gonna just absolutely rock socks. Omega says, but he's allergic to extra pain. PU is already pain. Look, it's like when you log into the 4.0 preview, it does say persistent universe. It is the PU. So I mean, you're fine. Um, but anyways, is chat going on top of or behind? I think it's going
I've
behind.
really been enjoying the jump gate. I'm not gonna lie. I just like
Yeah,
going through it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not done the jump gate
Like since PTU,
outside of EPTU.
you should do it.
So like there
It
was
is different from how it was.
there's the couple times that we kind of went through it back and forth during the EPTU, and that was fun. You know, when we had people like literally standing on the elevators and
Yeah.
literally just hanging outside the ship watching the tunnel. That was fun.
Mhm.
I remember jumping out. That was fun. You go full black. You just enter the void and die immediately.
Yeah. All right, so let's find a new post. So help is on the way, 4.0.1. Basically, it's Wikipedia CIG saying that they're already working on a 4.0.1 that they're going to try and put out on the PTU, which contains features like bug fixes and bug fixes and updates that didn't make it into the 4.0 base. So
Okay. Let's see if we can break a Fundy's brain real quick. What we have, right? We have the alpha. We have the live alpha. It's 324.3, right? We have that. That's out. That's live. That's been there for a minute. Okay.
Mhm.
We have on top of that now something new. The 4.0 preview live, right? That's another not PTU channel, not live channel, but something in between. Never had it before. That's new. Now, they're already doing a 4.0.1 version. So where are we in the pre-alpha-ness of this? Is this like the pre-alpha now?
uh, I I'm thinking it's
I'm kind of
I'm
losing
thinking
track of
it's
what they're
almost
doing.
I'm thinking it's almost a pre.
Kind of. Like, how many steps removed are we from the actual game at this point?
At least two.
All I know is I count the
What must
preview
they
as
be
4.0 live.
testing? Like, what is quality control doing in their offices? I wonder.
They hired the fucking they hired the skeleton crew. I mean the snooze crew. I mean the Z crew. Sorry, to come back and be do diligent work and get underpaid and get stuck until the 10th, basically. But you know, I'm in 4.0 preview right now. I hated Hurston for the longest minute, and so far, Hurston's atmosphere is bug free. God, I say it. Dare I say it? I've not had a single mission miss so far, boys.
That's good.
So maybe they're
Well,
backtracking and working their way back from the bottom up. Just
now
saying.
that
Maybe.
now that you said it though,
There.
just saying.
Good luck. I know. I haven't gotten to a dogfight yet with chaff and everything, but NPCs are whacked out. Like I now have to clear NPCs in my ship from from bunkers. Turrets are on point. I cannot get within 1.5 clicks without having a half shredded Hornet, and my spoiler is falling off. Basically, I'm about to die. Then I have to run there. But it's nice to see that the AI are doing their job, and it's nice to see the quality of life improvement. Speaking of what Condor was saying, in the core money making, or some of the core FPS money making missions. Honestly, so it's a breath of fresh air. Honestly.
So this guy right here in the comments makes a similar comparison that Krendor makes, and he says the numbering is all whack to me. After the 4.0.1 goes live post PTU, does it become the 4.0 preview build since 4.0 hasn't officially launched, or does it now become a 4.0.1 preview build where we're still waiting for the official 4.0 released patch?
Everybody that's
Yeah, I
playing in
don't know.
324 is going to get all their stuff wiped. They're going to have a fresh start.
Well, we know
And
that.
yes, but if you want to have a higher chance of having your progress and all your components, weapons, everything you've earned done, saved, and to be actually of value and of worth something, you need to be playing the 4.0 preview right now, because they're going to completely delete the 3.24 live, make 4.0 preview obsolete, change it over in the name. I'm just saying text file, right? We're changing the name to 4.0.1 live. That's how it's going to be. Then 4.0 preview is going to be gone, and it's going to just go back to the same individual live all your progress is gonna be carried over and saved, and that's pretty much how it's gonna be. From what I've read, at least, like I go through way too many Facebook Star Citizen groups, and there's some frustrating people and there's some really knowledgeable people, and it makes sense to me that it's going to be a 4.0.1 live basically, and the preview is just going to turn into the live, and they're going to wipe the current 2 instances or PTUs essentially.
Right.
You know, it's been my opinion for a long time now. Like I started playing right when 3.14 was going to be 3.15, like 2 weeks exactly before 3.15 went live, and that was a full wipe. So like my first experience playing this game was like having it no consequences and like just being able to fuck around and have fun, and like I
That's
knew
awesome.
that no matter what I did for 2 weeks, there was going to be a full reset and the game's going to be completely different, because that's when they introduced medical and like the new inventory system, and like I think Orison was new, or maybe it was like new in 3.14 or something. But like I don't know, it kind of gave me this perspective that like this game I think is actually better when you don't have to worry about progress being carried over.
Yep.
Like just play the game. Don't worry about fucking if they're gonna wipe or not. Like they're going to wipe 3.24.3. If that sounds good to you, then play that. If you want to play 4.0 and you want to maybe have progress for when it goes live, that's great. Do that. But like I genuinely, like if it doesn't carry over and they do have to wipe it, I don't think you'll have lost anything for playing 4.0, because like you get to experience the game as it is. And like really, like the only progress you can actually make with this game is what you make as a player. Like, and I don't mean just the money you make. Like I'm talking about what you can do in the game skill wise. Like your skills are everything. The game's not going to give you anything, so you have to get it for yourself. And like
Well,
I don't know, I just feel like worrying about making all this progress, like while it's good to know how to be productive, I just kind of see all of this as like practice anyway. You know what I mean? Like
Well, you
Well,
say
yeah, I mean,
324.3.
we're
Like,
like
how's
5
that?
steps removed from an actual
So,
game. Like there's no reason
here's
to worry about it.
here's another thing to kind of keep in mind, right? So down the road at some point they're going to bring base building in, and people are going to spend hours upon hours, maybe weeks upon weeks building bases and star bases and all that other fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yet everyone's going to wonder, uh hold on one sec. Just got some feedback. I'm gonna, oh, that's already maxed out.
I'm kind of curious, Quinn. You say 324.3, but you're telling me they're going to continue to have the 324 saga continue?
No.
They're not just going to wipe it?
I'm
Oh,
saying
sorry.
they're wiping 324 dot whatever as it exists right now. Like that's the current
Okay.
live, right? We know
Yep.
that it's gonna wipe, right?
Yep.
So if like knowing that there is going to be a wipe appeals to you, you might want to play 324.3 just because there's no question. You know, like you already know what you're getting into. You're just going in
Fair
to fuck
point.
around.
Yep.
It's like a pure sandbox right now.
Yeah.
And like 4.0 can be if you don't worry about if your progress continues or not. But like, you know, if you care about that, then that's fine. But
Well, I guess
I
it,
wouldn't let it stop my fun, I guess is what I'm saying. Because I know a lot of people
yeah.
get really stressed out about it.
And it all depends on the type of fun you want to have. Like
Yeah.
half of us in Hellstern, I'd say the majority of us, are understanding that if we're gonna dogfight and have to, and it definitely kind of splits between an org mentality and a solo player mentality. For a solo player, go ham. Like, do all you need to do, be the most like crazy individual and have a party, basically. But from like an org standpoint, it's kind of like the opposite, because now that we understand that certain things are taken away, obviously Class A components, of which they technically don't even matter now because there's no like insane stat difference in accordance to Class Bs or Bs that were As as Cs, in for example. And then on top of that, certain weapons like NDBs. So like, I'm curious what they're gonna say as far as the wipe, because does that mean all the executive hangars and ships that we've opened and acquired and have conquered are going to be taken along with that wipe? Because if I understand that it's with the player profile, not the RSI page. So I'm curious how that's going to go. And if that is the case, since we have, done a little bit of a weapon insurance finagling per se, and have acquired NDBs, are all of our NDBs going to be wiped too? I'm really curious.
I don't know.
I mean, so
probably maybe
the
if they
the
wipe
way I,
inventory, then probably.
the way I
Yeah.
see it is, well, the short answer is yes. But I mean, if you think
Okay.
about it, if it's in your online hangar, right,
Mhm.
that is attributed outside the game.
Yeah.
Everything that we've done inside the game is attributed to our in-game profile. So our F7s, our F8s, our multitude of Sayulans, our do we have a Cuddy Black yet? I think we have a Cuddy Black. So anyways,
Yes.
all those ships that we've acquired and all the weapons that we've acquired from them, it's basically just going to be as if, for instance, when we did our bunker runs, we acquired all those weapons and attachments and armor, and then we had the wipe, right? So that all got reset, and this will be the same thing. So we'll have to do the bunkers all over, or the contested zones all over again. But that being said, we've been through it so many times, it's going to be a cakewalk for us.
Yeah. You're right.
So I'm not too terribly concerned, and like I was saying before I got distracted, I was I was reading Overseer's message to me in chat. He was talking about audio stuff, but anyways, the game is gonna wipe at least one more time, no matter how much progress you put into it. You can spend multiple weeks, like you can spend an entire quarter building a starbase, and at least one more time, it's going to wipe before it goes 1.0 launch.
Mm-hmm.
So you can guarantee that there is always going to be at least one more wipe before 1.0.
Yeah.
So
True.
just bear that in mind. And just expect that your progress, I mean, it's nice to keep it from patch to patch to patch, because, I mean, obviously we want to see how far we can go. And the limitations of
Excuse me.
reputation and the limitations of things to acquire and stuff like that eventually gets reached, right? Then you hit end game, but the game doesn't have end game content yet. I mean, they've talked about it in the last CitizenCon. They talked about end game content. And 1 second, invite to speak. So, anyways, we talked about end game content. Welcome, Overseer, to the chat.
Yo.
They talked about the end game content, but they have not delivered it yet. We don't have the end game content in game, and we know what it's gonna be. We have some ideas of what it's gonna be like, but once people hit the end game, I mean, really, when base building and stars and stations come into play that we can build, that's the true end game, right? So if
Yeah.
you play, if you're the kind of person that plays to the point of getting to end game, completing end game, and then washing your hands of the game and stopping, well, build a station. As soon as you finish building a station, you're done. Because that's end game industrial, right? End game PvP, there's going to be these huge underground things, labyrinths of FPS gameplay that you can take on, and then end game for fighters, well, that's every day. End game for fighters is just go out and fight the best person you can find.
Back, I gotta stop you real quick. We're oversaturating the term end game right now in an MMO that is designed to be an open loop, where
it's designed to, yes, but
yes, there literally is no end game.
You could call it the final form of their the design.
No, okay.
You have to understand that
with like
the end game
is like end game-ish, but like that's not what an end game is.
Well, hold on. And so in an MMO, MMORPG in this case, end game is fluid, right? Because they can add more content and they can keep adding more content. But in the current state of the game right now, reaching the quote unquote end game is quick, right? So as they add more and more stuff, such as the station building, such as the deep labyrinths underneath Area 18 and other locations, such as the presently acquired contested zones, That's all current end game content, quote unquote end game content, because that is basically an activity you wouldn't do until you've acquired steps to get there. Although technically, I guess end game in the sense of contested zones would actually being getting your ship, the
Yeah.
fight to get the ship.
And that's end game within the context of that game loop. But like, that's not to say that that's the end game for Star Citizen at all. That's just when you're in the contested zone, the end game is the hangar.
But
Getting
they
that
did
hangar is the end.
they
I
did
think
mention
too,
in
though,
Citizen
it's
Con that station building was considered end game content.
That they said that that's considered like late stage, I think, or something. I don't think they use the word end game.
I think playing off of both what Krendor and Kelbeck said, though, I mean, to me in this game, anyways, even knowing that it's a persistent loop, you kind of make the end game what you want to make it. Kind of like the
Right.
win condition
Yeah.
of Magic the Gathering. You know, you have your own win condition, and every player can make their own winning condition, right? Whether you
Right.
win, you know, depending on how you get there is up to you. So, you know, if you want to build a station and be done, that's your end game, knowing that it continuously loops. And I think that honestly is what makes Star Citizen shine, is because you really can just do what you want to do, get what you want out of it. And at that point, when you're ready to wash your hands of it, you wash your hands of it. But the thing is, you'll always be hooked right back in with the next update.
Something. Oh, yep. Exactly.
Yeah, so
like that.
Mageless says, DayZ is an open loop game, but there is an end game. He says that, you know, there's military zones in the game, and basically being able to go into those zones is considered end game for DayZ. Which I can understand. Having played survival games like Scum and Rust and all those others, there are certain areas of the map that, while technically you could walk into them from day one, that's not something you generally brave unless you've got the gear and equipment to actually make it all the way through.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, no, like Overseer was just saying, realistically speaking, in an MMO, endgame technically becomes a personal win condition that you set for yourself. But there is content that they're going to keep adding to the game that keeps pushing end game further and further down the way. Right now, like I said earlier, right now the end game content, the content that is technically only achievable after spending some time in the game.
It's so much easier to say late
close.
stage. I don't understand why you're so averse to just saying late stage content.
Because to me, it's two sides of the same coin.
So it's potato.
I couldn't agree less.
Let's see. Well, let's find us another post. Let's see what more we can talk about.
More salt bacon.
So this guy said the title of this post is 4.0 started good for me, but now it's totally unplayable. So let's see what he has to say. He says, in the first days of the new patch, the game was still buggy. It was a buggy mess, but buggy mess, but less worse than expected. Okay.
Those standards we got surprised.
I even
terrible rhetoric
some reputation. Yeah. But this has come to an end. I could even log into the game anymore. I think I
couldn't.
I have a feeling this person's main language is not English, so we'll
I
grant
have
him
a
some
feeling
leeway.
their main language is actually English. They're just not that well educated.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume
Touche.
they're not a native English speaker.
But they tend to be better educated than native English speakers.
I don't have a 60 XXX error, but the game is stuck in loading screen, then disconnects after every long time. I tried all the advice, Arena
Oh,
Commander,
man.
Flush Network. Anyways, so it looks like this guy's
I kind of feel like
problem
that's
is
maybe a
just having
one-off
trouble getting into the
situation
server.
that they just.
Mm.
It sounds like a rage quit situation to me. They had it happen
Which
once and then they quit and said it happened every time when it didn't.
skill issue to me.
So one thing that I saw on one of Salty Mike's videos was someone made the comment and he read it aloud that a lot of the people posting on Spectrum are the people who aren't playing the game. Like if you're
Right.
posting, you're not playing. And if you're not playing, generally it's because you gave up too early. That's kind of my take on it as well.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Oh, and I wanted to weigh in too. I didn't get a chance to when you all were talking about like gear fear. Like right now is the perfect time to not have gear fear. Like with the amount of money that you make from the missions, and I know this is off topic, but the amount of money that you can make from the missions that you're running, you're able to recoup anything that you really want to recoup. So like Krendor and you all of you were saying, like get in there and have fun with it. Like don't worry about the gear because you're going to get it back very quickly
Well,
and
the
with
best
little
thing
with little to no consequence.
the best thing about contested zones is you don't even need to have gear to go in there. And you don't even need a weapon to knock out a person or even an NPC and take their kit and then leave. Like you don't have to have money,
It's
you don't
free.
have to have anything. Just go
No.
down there, knock them out, take the gear, run back. Boom. There's a full
It's a
kit for you.
Uses are provided free of charge too.
So it's
Just gotta get really
it's
lucky. Really
yeah.
lucky.
The other thing you really that I found that you really need when you go down in there is your multi-tool, because it seems like no one's carrying them on them anymore.
Yep.
I don't think a lot of people know that you can actually buy them in pyro stations.
Yeah, at the cargo.
Well, see, we're
Yeah.
still in the very early days, right? It's a fresh wipe. Not a whole lot of people have a lot of money. A lot of people are going into the contested zone because that's one of the main features that they were all excited for, like just like we did, and they didn't take the time to go and explore the solar system and explore the rest of the station. Some of them did, so they've found their multi-tools, or maybe they had the multi-tools given to them by a friend, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And now they're going down to the contested zone, and really the only reason to have a tractor that is necessary to have a tractor is to get by one of the bugs that's in the game, which is every now and then you can't fit a fuse into the door. So the only way to do it is to use your tractor. And once that bug came into play, you noticed a lot more tractors showing up in the contested zone. But not a lot of
Like
people
spawning
are,
wise?
are carrying them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I would like to see it as more of a spawnable item, like on NPCs. That would be nice because I mean, when you go back to Stanton, they're a lot more prevalent on NPCs than they are here.
O-
So I mean, that would be
Only
nice.
on some, and it's not always a tractor attachment.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's a cutter tool or
Okay, let's see what this one is. 4.0, the unvarnished situation. Okay, he's a woodworker. Let's see. The current 4.0 is unplayable. I love how people say unplayable and then don't define their definition of unplayable, because I don't know about you guys. Yeah, it's buggy. Yeah, it's a absolute shit show some days, but it doesn't keep me from logging in. I can leave my habs. I can get into the main core of the station. I can get to my hangar. I can call a ship. I can fly out into the verse. Uh, I can accept missions. I can complete missions. Some of them you have to figure out which ones are still working because again,
Mhm.
buggy mess still. But so far, everything that you would consider the game to be playable is working. However, unplayable means I can't load the game from the launcher. That's an unplayable situation. I can load the game from the launcher, but I can't log into a server. That's another unplayable situation. I can load the game, I can get into a server, but I can't leave my hab. That's another unplayable, like I can't get out of my bed, or I can't leave the hab because the door won't open. Another unplayable is the hangar. Or not the hangar, the elevator down to the main station. Once you hit the main station, that's when the game becomes playable. Because there are things for your character to do. You can go to the shops, you can get gear, you can go down to the contested zone, you can take an elevator down to the pads to find a ship, you can take an elevator to the hangars to get a ship. If that hangar doesn't work, you still have the contested zones, you still have the shops, and you still have medical. So I mean, it still has some playable features. But
I do want to
because you
backtrack
good.
real quick. When you brought up being stuck in the hab, not being able to take the elevator down to the lobby, these are not things that make the game unplayable. If you spawn in a station and you're unable to leave the hab, simply kill yourself. You spawn in the clinic outside of the hab. You have circumvented the problem, and the game is now playable.
That's called using a noodle.
Unless the elevators in the medical facility are busted too.
Right, and that's
yeah.
a different problem.
That's yeah.
See, now we're
Figure
moving
out how to spawn.
goalposts.
Right, yeah, we're just trying to get that next down, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
But like just shit like that, like just some
it's all
things
about
are
problem
workable.
solving.
Not everything is solvable, but some things are. I would say most problems are.
All right, so he goes on to say, he says, number 2, there's also the risk of long-term loss of character. I don't understand
What's
what he
that
means
mean?
by that. Yeah, I
It might have
don't know.
gotten your
Is he talking about Death of a
deleted?
Spaceman, which is not a thing?
No,
right.
I don't think that's what they're talking about. I have a feeling it might be something to do with like an unstowed character they can't log back in or something. I don't know.
Oh,
Character
But
reset.
it's
too.
Technically, it's not a long-term loss of character.
Yeah.
short term,
Yeah.
But
like
anyways,
maybe a couple hours.
he's only bullet pointed this and hasn't gone on to explain anything beyond the bullet point. So I don't have any definitions of any of this. The number 3 is contrary
feel
to the
very
announcements, CIG has not managed to release 4.0 live at the end of 2024.
They did though by
They did,
their own
though.
definition.
Even
By
before
their
that.
definition,
Look,
yes, but they
are the
haven't
ones that
called
make
it.
it's their game. They make the
But they
definitions.
haven't
so-
called it live yet.
They
'Cause
did
you're
though.
not
They
logging.
called it preview live.
Because you're not call.
No, but
no,
it is the PU.
Hold on. If you log into the
with
launcher,
Brenda on that one.
if you log into the
Yeah.
launcher,
It's preview.
it says
preview.
4.0 preview, and that's the name of the
Yeah.
file, right?
It says preview live. Yeah, 4.0 preview live.
Well,
It's technically live.
hold on.
Right.
Hear me out on this. So, in the bold, right? We're looking at the files. You have the live folder and you have the 4.0 preview folder.
Yeah.
There's not 4.0 live. There's not live. It's just
Well, if
live
they
and
named one
4.0
live
preview.
and okay, look, if they named one live and the other one 4.0 live, that just makes it confusing. Why would they have two folders named live?
because it'd be live.
that's
Otherwise, they would have
confusing.
just
If it's-
otherwise they would have just rolled 4.0 into live. Technically,
but look, 4.0.0 live is what it says in the menu.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's accessible by everyone who owns the game and they don't
That-
have
yep.
to be a backer of sorts,
That's
it
true.
is live.
My friends who
I
I bought
wouldn't-
chips for
I
who have
wouldn't
not put
cons-
money in were able to play it.
the only reason why it can be anything remotely considered to live is the fact that it's directly
called it live.
connected to the live database
Which
for
makes it
your
live.
profile.
They called it live. It's connected to live. It's live.
I refuse to accept that.
I don't
you
care.
have-
That's what
you
they
have-
say. It's their
You
game.
have the live server, which is currently handling 3.24.3 presently.
But it's
and
like
then
you're
you-
trying
and
to
then you have
argue
the
against the
preview.
dictionary. Like you're just trying to argue against like Merriam-Webster about the book that they wrote. You know what I mean? Like they wrote
But-
the
but it's-
definition of the words.
If it was live, they wouldn't have called it preview. What's a preview? What's the definition
But
of a preview?
it's a
What's the
preview of
definition of
live.
a preview? You're talking about the dictionary here. What's the definition of a preview?
I don't know. Why don't you look it up? I don't have it in front of me.
Well, then clearly you don't know the definition of live either.
I do know the definition of live because CIG told me, and they said this is live. It's a preview of live. Accessible
Good
to
thing
all players.
good thing CIG didn't write a dictionary.
Right, I agree. I don't think that they would be very good linguistics, except for
No.
maybe the alien languages they made are pretty cool. But
But-
I
I
mean,
mean,
we'd probably get the dictionary in 2042.
So I have to agree with this poster. They failed to release 4.0 to the full live build by the end of
Okay.
2024.
I disagree. It is its own live build.
I think it is inherently a live build that is open to the public.
Right there, you go.
Okay.
It's its own full build.
His next comment is CIG does not know when 4.0 will be functional. I mean,
it is currently
let's
functional. I can get on it right now.
let's take that comment and let's look at the entire game right now. I don't think there's been a patch to date that has been fully functional.
Yeah, what are we calling fully functional? Like it works like Call of Duty on launch day? Like that will literally never happen with this game. It will never be
That's
that
not
level of
functional.
polished.
And then his last point, number 5, is all of this in direct contrast to the marketing. I'm not sure what he means by that. I mean,
Can you say that again?
all of this is in direct contrast to the marketing.
What does that mean?
Well, by the use of the term contrast, I assume he means
Differences.
like black
It's
and
like-
white, right? So
Yeah.
so one side would be non-functional, the other side being functional. So I'm guessing they're saying that marketing is portraying the game as a fully functioning, smooth operation of a game, which again, like you said,
I don't think
about
they
the whole
ever
Call of
did
Duty
that.
thing, no.
I think
Well-
that they presented cinematic shorts of like things that represent features in the game using the setting that they've created in their IP. I don't think they ever put a commercial out that said the game is functional. I think
agree.
they said that there are builds that you can play of it. I think that they've said that there are features that they have worked on that they've released. I think that there are ships that they made that they said you could fly. I don't think they once ever said Star Citizen is a functional game. So I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, no, I don't know where it came from either.
I don't think any player of Star Citizen would ever, in good faith, say that it's a functional game. It's objectively not. I don't think CIG ever would either. I
Yeah,
think
no,
that playable and functional are two different terms
Let's
in this
let's go
context.
let's go back to one of the other posts that mentions the phrase alpha.
Right.
That by
A playable alpha.
yeah. The fact that the game is in a state of alpha release would suggest that the game is still being worked on. It's not even an
Right.
early release. It's not you know how you go on Steam and they go, "Oh, these are early release games," meaning they're still being worked on. Okay, but generally speaking, early release games are technically in a beta phase.
Right. Like when you look
So,
at Grounded,
this is
Grounded
alpha.
came out, it had all of its mechanics, but it was still getting content added. Like there were maybe like 1 or 2 mechanics they added later, but the mechanics for Grounded were all there when the game came out to early access. It's just the amount of content wasn't there yet, which is distinctly different from Star Citizen literally still adding fundamental features.
You guys are gonna like this one. Is 4.0 worse off than 3.18? Be honest. Now that's
No,
the
it's way
title of
better.
the post.
That's
So-
a crazy question.
Yeah, it's night and day.
Yeah.
Like
Now there-
the majority of us that have played during 3.18,
It was
Can call
actually
this a-
unplayable.
yeah, like the 4.0,
In
and if it wasn't
318,
EPTU as now, this is like heaven. I'm not gonna lie. Weird to
If
say.
we're going to
318,
define functional as something like an EXE that runs, right? Like
Oh,
functional is just the EXE runs. 318 was non-functional.
Right.
Like the game literally would just not run
So
for the majority of players.
again, having experienced the least amount of issues amongst most of the people I play with, I was able to play 318, but it's one of those situations where at best you get in for an hour before you finally have reached the limit of frustration that you can no longer play anymore.
Right. And that hour, what have you gotten done? You maybe made it to the space station. You maybe even got to your ship. Did you ever take off? I don't know if I ever got to take off in 318 before like .1 came out. It was that bad.
Infernal, can you point me at something that states that they're framing the game as early access? Because
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
I've never seen CIG advertise it as anything but an alpha. If you have that, either drop it in Discord or here in chat or whichever.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be
Um,
pretty cool to see if they ever said that.
Let's see. So anyways, let's go to the comments since the post is basically the question in the title of the post. So the first poster says no, it's much better than expected. This is the first foundation for server meshing. So for me, it's fine. Fixes will come over the next months. Happy New Year to all. Anyways, basically, if I'm going to read between the lines on this guy's post, he's basically saying that, like we said, 318 is far worse. 4.0 is in a much better state, and they just released not just server meshing, but a whole new star system. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
it's
guys
not just the
remember.
foundation of server meshing. That's what 318 was. 318 was a foundation with persistent entity streaming. This is full server meshing that works like very consistently. It's like a huge feat that they've done.
Well, it's not just that, right? So you've got crap. You've got basically, I don't know if you guys remember, but in order to add a single planet, Microtech, they literally had to remove a whole other location just to keep the game playable because there was too much data for the game to process. Um,
I wasn't
and
around back then.
I mean, I wasn't playing at that time, but I mean, I've read quite a bit on it, and yeah, they basically had to remove. That's when they removed. It was right before I came back because I had pledged before and I played for a bit and then I left for a while and I came back, and right before I came back, they had removed the asteroid base.
Grimhex?
No, not Grimhex, the other one.
What other one?
Levski?
Levski, that one.
Oh yeah.
So they just removed that entire location to make the fourth and final planet of Stanton able to be inserted and playable. So in this case, they're not just adding one planet. They're adding a solar system of 6 planets, 8 moons, I want to say, and a whole slew of asteroid clusters, stations, freaking gaseous nebulas, you name it. It's literally a mess, right? There's a whole bunch of things going in and server meshing underneath all of it. And yet we're able to log in. We're able to get into stations. We're able to go to our hangars. We're able to leave our hangars with ships. We're able to fly to different destinations. We're able to do missions. It's almost as if, we're still in Stanton experiencing 3.24.3, just with a whole different star system. In fact, you can go back and forth between the two as much as you want, and that experience is a smooth experience. So I agree with this poster. He says, it's 4.0 is nowhere near 318. The next guy, Actually pushing boundaries is always an ugly mess. No pain, no gain. And with 4.0, all the foundational elements are in place, so it should start to come together at this point, which
Mm,
fewer, if any, alpha quality T0 introductions.
see, I
I
don't
don't
know
know
if I
about that.
agree with that. Yeah,
Mm.
like all the foundational. What did he say? All the foundational what's are
All
in
the
place.
foundational elements are in place.
Elements of like the MMO. I would
Didn't
not say at
didn't
all.
specify.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
he
So
says
let's say the game, right? Like for what it is, like
he
as
did
an
say all the
MMORPG has
4.0
Star
foundational
Citizen.
elements.
Okay, well then no solar flares. That's pretty foundational for 4.0, I would argue. It's kind of one of the main features of Pyro.
I don't know.
Um,
I kind of think the 4.0 solar flares is kind of a flare if you catch my drift.
I mean, do you remember them from the Pyro preview?
I
But
do.
imagine how many difficult how
Do you,
many
But it
okay,
players are going to
but
complain though,
it's
even though
not
it's a
a
sole property of it.
it's not a core technology. It's not
no, that's not
a
what I mean. It's a
server.
core technology.
It's not a hardware or software uh technology that allows players to or the developers to continue expanding the game. It's
Okay,
just a feature
it's,
of the
it's not
release.
right. It's not what I was talking about. He's talking about 4.0, right? As it should be. Pyro is defined by its star, like making it incredibly hostile to live in. Think about the dynamic when you were playing the 4.0 preview, right? When there was a solar flare, you would get warnings. Your ship would freak the fuck out. You, as the player, would freak out because one, you didn't know it was about to happen. You don't know how bad the flare is going to be. It could be light. It could be really strong. It could destroy your ship. Frankly, I I'd seen it soft kill ships. You the dynamic that it created is like you are in like perpetual paranoia, right? And the feeling that that evokes as a player makes it feel more dangerous, as it should be. Compare it to how 4.0 feels right now. 4.0, as you said, is basically just Stanton, but like dirtier and like a little hotter with more criminals and no crime stat.
No
But
crime
like,
stats.
but like foundationally, that's not the only thing missing. Like, there's no engineering. There's no what are the like 18 other features they removed from 4.0 that aren't even in testing again yet? Like that to me, that's what I'm thinking of when we're talking about foundations of 4.0. All the features that they are just like holding for whatever reason right now. Like where are they at? I don't think 4.0 is like even close to being fully done yet. Like as much as I appreciate what server meshing is and like how incredible it is that they even have pyro in the game now, it's still foundationally or fundamentally not there. You know what I mean? Like it's not really 4.0 yet, at least in my opinion.
Right. So it looks like a lot of the posts and a lot of the commenters in this post are more so in favor of 4.0 being better. So here's just a few more I'm going to rattle off real quick.
Certainly is.
Speaking only for myself, so far 4.0 has been on the whole smooth. I won't even go there. Server performance is much higher. AI targets are much more responsive. However, stability in missions is lower than normal. Contracts will complete most of the time, but you'll get caught randomly by a mission that gets hung up with no reputation, with no resolution, then to log out. Another guy says, I don't consider invisible, or I haven't encountered invisible players yet, so no, 318 is much worse. Another guy says this is way better. 318 had players completely locked out for months, which I was one of them though. I wasn't locked out for months, but I think I had like a couple days locked out. So I mean, not near as bad. And then this other guy says, you obviously didn't experience the true 318. I've had 3 to 4 accounts locked out, and besides that, they left 3.24 out in case shit went south.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does that kind of answer the question though? If they left that out in case it went south, does that answer the question that it is still live?
No.
It's actually a live variant. They're just like, if this live sucks, they're still 324.
So running 4.0 and 3.24 parallel basically is just we're gonna give you what we have and hope it doesn't break shit. But they have yet to merge it into the full into the full live release.
Personally, I think it's them trying to placate crybabies who can't take when the game is a little wonky.
I mean, even then they still
No.
haven't done that. I mean, there's plenty of Spectrum
I
posts.
mean,
Well,
I
they
think
they
you
never
probably
really
got
will
the
be able to do it,
pyro
but
in the
like
first place.
the attempt is kind of cringe. I'm not gonna lie. Like I say, just put 4.0 out as it is. There's no reason to have two live builds.
Another guy says, I stop taking posts seriously when I see statements like this, and the statement is, this is how we are treated after giving you $sign, 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 $sign.
Like, dude, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, I've put in fucking $signs as well, and I'm not complaining like that.
I mean, I'm not up to $5 yet, but but yeah,
I
no, I
hope to
agree.
God, I never get to 5. That's like insane.
You know, maybe we should just do this. We'll hit Spectrum every single week. Actually, no, that's a bad idea.
No, that sounds terrible. I would
All right,
stop doing this.
let's find another post. Let's go back another page. All right. The Holiday 4.0 experience. That looks exciting.
Mm.
Oh, this is a wall of text. Well, I bought it to try it out over the holidays. Read about the 4.0 wipe and fresh start. 360 million raised for this game. Wait, I thought it was
What?
higher than that.
It's like 700 something million.
I was gonna
Yeah, that's
say,
what I thought.
I think he's reading an old article. Anyways,
Must be.
well, here's some of what my here's some of what many. Oh, wow, that's just my bad ability to read. Here is what many are experiencing. It is not remotely an enjoyable experience. Okay, he didn't say unplayable. Credit there.
Yeah, good. Okay. I'm with him.
Yeah.
The tutorial didn't work, so I was learn as you. Okay, got it. Better phrasing. I was learn as you go. Basically, he taught himself. Got it. Thank you to the many streamers who helped me along the way. Okay, credit where credit's due. All this hype about 4.0, and I found myself in a never-ending world of server error, reloading, black screens, missions that would not work or complete, elevator problems, fleet manager issues, hangar hangups, having to travel a very long way just to get a chance to get a ship or even buy some food or drink or ammo, etc. Okay, so these are all valid issues and
Yep.
bugs in the 4.0. Never at the same time. Some of them were, but not all of them. It also tells me that he started in Stanton.
Yeah, can I help you? What you doing, cutie?
After 50 plus hours of trying to learn this game, I'm exhausted. I feel, as one game developer put it, that this is like a casino. Come in. Wait, hold on. Lost my. Come on. There we go. Come in and you're constantly told to try this or buy this, into this for the. To try this or buy into this for this or that reason. Clearly, he does not type how my mind wants to read it.
Huh.
Yet the gameplay is substandard, and the game mechanics are really need retooling. What? Oh, I think I put a word in there that wasn't there. Anyways, yes, I read and agree to the acknowledgement every time I log into the alpha that this or log in that this is an alpha. Uh,
All right.
what was that 360 million raised? How long have you been in development? If I was a stockholder or a public funder, I'd be very concerned. I mean, let's talk about that point for a second. There are games. In fact, majority of the games that have high fidelity are in development for at least 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's a game. This game here is in development for 12 years, and I can't remember. I heard someone talk about some other games recently, and mentioned that one of these games, I can't remember which one, but it was in development for 12 years. However,
Jesus.
it came out after those 12 years. This one's still not out yet. So I understand their frustration with this, but see what's happening here with Star Citizen is it's backed by, well, us backers. We're the ones funding the entire thing. They don't have a whole lot of investors, or not. Let me rephrase that. They have investors. They don't have a company above them dictating and telling them how and when they need to release stuff.
They're also not publicly traded.
Correct. So they don't have any shareholders that they are beholden to. That being said, that means they get to develop on their own schedule. But what's happening is they're getting their money up front from us instead of getting the money up front from a video game sugar daddy. In this case, things like Activision.
And by the way, just how much did Black Ops 6 cost to make, I wonder? After how many CODs they've already made? And like they just keep using the same engine and like updating the same assets and the same gameplay and like just tweaking it, making very, very minor tweaks. Yet they still somehow spend billions of dollars on games that take them 2 years to make. And we're
Yeah.
complaining about a game that was built from literally nothing, that is made by, you have to face it and accept this, an indie company. They are an independent company. That's the only criteria that matters. They're not beholden to any publishers. You're paying them. They're making this game that you want them to make. They're making it from nothing. Like $700 million is not that much money, especially considering what they've done with it. Like this complaint is insane to me.
They've built an engine, which they're still continuing to work on. They have built a single player experience, and they've built a multiplayer experience. So 2 games and an engine, all simultaneously while hosting live servers. So
All for under $1 billion so far.
Yeah.
So far. Now,
less than the cost of the average COD.
But here's the point that I want to
absolutely.
make. Let's take COD for example. How much money do you think COD raises after the game goes live? After they launch their game, how much money do you think they make in revenue off of COD? Any COD. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so if you know, please throw them at me.
I don't know.
I know they're sinking more and more each new game they make, less and less, but that's besides the point. It's far more than what this game has taken in. And I mean, let's just be real. I mean, this game, I don't think this game could survive in any other engine. I don't think that it could work. So to create an engine that they're still working on, have this game in the state that it's in, which is absolutely playable, and all the things that you can do in it, they're doing pretty damn well.
I'd have to agree. So before I finish this post, I'm gonna comment. Go back to chat real quick. DSM asked, "Is the AI actually fun yet?" And I would have to say,
Oh yeah.
it's better. It is definitely better. They actually work together. They are a lot more aggressive if you're going against enemies.
They
They
don't miss.
can really
No, they
rock
don't.
your world, and not in a fun way. So, I don't know what your definition of fun is, but they are challenging. They're more challenging than they used to be.
It feels a lot closer to Tarkov level AI,
Um,
if you ask me.
I mean, in terms of recognizing a hostile and starting to shoot, okay. I would say they're better
I
in
mean,
terms of
getting
tactics.
closer, getting well, I should say closer. I don't mean right on point, but I think getting closer in regards to how unforgiving they are by the time they shoot hitbox registers and you're dead or you're not.
So according to Acid, he says COD Modern Warfare 2 2009 was the most expensive COD at 200 million.
Oh, okay.
That's to make, not how much they made in revenue after the fact.
Right. Now, is that including how much it costs to make every single COD before it?
Well,
Including the engine that they made for the game and all the
yeah,
assets?
see that I don't know, but like you said, basically what COD does is they just reskin stuff and they reuse assets. That's why their game
Right.
development time is 2 years as opposed to 10 years
Mhm.
because their very first game probably took them 5 to 10 years because they had to develop those 4 assets first.
So, yeah, so
And
like
then
if
they
Black
just
Ops
iterated
6,
on those assets as they went.
right, if Black Ops 6 is like 200 million to make, right? How much is that along with every other COD made before it? Because like if we're talking about a span of time for developing games, I think it's important to add, if you want to compare it to Star Citizen, you have to add the actual dev time of the game. So like we don't have to add every single COD, but like maybe how long it took to make Call of Duty, the first one, like the very first one. I know that they remade the engine at a few points. So maybe those games as well we could include in the budget, the overall budget and time spent. I think it would be comparable to Star Citizen.
Now, keep in mind that
So
there's
I just
there's
searched metrics.
700 and something million dollars that they have raised. Also built not one, but 2 office buildings. So it didn't actually go into making the game.
So this is just a quick Google search, but what I've found here, Star Citizen is the second developing game is well second place in how much total cost in development. First place
Okay.
is Genshin Impact at $900+ million USD.
How the
Holy
fuck are
shit!
they
And that isn't
spending
that a mobile
900
game?
million?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
well,
a
it's
a
PC
everything
as
game.
well.
It's on every platform.
Yeah.
But it started as mobile.
And
No, I don't think so.
surprisingly, just under Star Citizen is Monopoly Go.
What the?
What?
This
That's
is
wild.
this is under Statista, and it's the most expensive games ever made per capita in 2024. So we're going off of 2024, the full year, and Star Citizen ranks number 2 at the highest. I'm not sure how accurate this
Cyberpunk is
website
number
is.
4.
Cyberpunk is number 4.
Monopoly Go is number 3?
That is crazy to me, but yes. Marketing costs. So they're factoring in marketing costs, which is part of development.
That's true.
But it seems that they're factoring in a lot of looking here, marketing costs, the total cost with inflation. So that is a matter. You got to factor in inflation, right? Total cost of in million USD, marketing cost and development cost. That's kind of crazy if you ask me. It's funny. It really is funny, but it's kind of crazy.
So here's the going into the next line of this guy's comment. This just tells me that he probably knows next to nothing about any kind of development whatsoever. He says the development team seems to have spent more time on marketing stuff than the actual thing most games want, most gamers want.
He's already
Okay,
lost.
right. So a
It's not the
development team,
development team.
yeah, the development team isn't marketing. Marketing has its own artists. Well, they may use assets
Mhm.
from the
Well,
actual development artists. They also
I'll
have
go
their
one
own
step
artists.
further. They don't just have their own artists. They have their own dedicated team. They have the
Right.
marketing team.
When I say they
Just
had
like
their
there's
own
a
artists, I
development
meant
team.
part of their development team.
Right, yeah. They're separate departments. So like I I like you're I don't understand. They're completely separate.
Anyways, he goes on to say that basically the things that gamers want is good uninterrupted gameplay. He says, for example, I did a test of 20 cargo missions in a row. Now, mind you, he says cargo missions. I don't know if that means hauling missions or what, but either way, he
Box
says
delivery, maybe.
only one completed. And I'm sitting here
The
thinking to
question is
myself,
too: did he do it in
Skill
standard
issue.
or did he do it in pyro?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about where, because in Pyro, it's not hard to identify which missions are acting up. You run it, if it acts up, mark it. Run it again, if it acts up, mark it off. Do the next one at like different destinations. Because I found that some of them are actually working and some of them are still bugged, but in a good way. Like there's one where it says that you have to go from one destination to another destination, and then it gives you a variance of cargo capacity. And when you go to pick up your load, it actually gives you more cargo than you actually need to complete the mission. And it's bugged in a good way because it gives you a chance to go back and run it again if you lose some of the cargo, like if you get destroyed. But it's also bugged in the sense that some of that cargo is untagged for the mission. So it gives you extra, but you also run the risk of that extra being untagged.
I'm gonna
And you
go a
don't
little like
you don't know which pieces are
philosophical
tagged
here.
and which ones aren't tagged.
Because what's good when they're bugged too, like realistically, when you run into these bug missions that are messing up on you, this gives you a chance to actually talk to CIG on their Discord, reach out to them, and you get to know the people that you're backing in that manner to a degree, anyways.
What's
To a
really
degree,
funny
like,
is he's over here complaining on Spectrum. If he had problems with 20 cargo missions, I mean, he's on the website that he can go and make a bug report post to the issue council. And instead of doing that, he's come over here and just made a
Yeah.
yeah.
See, like
like
Now,
what I
mind you,
would like to
do you
know.
think Call of Duty's going to do that?
no.
Like, I
I
waited
know.
literal freaking months
Okay, I can tell you what Call of
reaching out
Duty
to them to
does.
fix something.
Here's what they do. But like a month or two, maybe 3 or 4 months before the game comes out, they put out a beta for like 2 or 3 weekends, and they take bug reports. Then they let people play the game. They give you some like little rewards. You know, it's great. Everybody has fun. You submit reports. But beta ends. Months go by. Game comes out. That's it. That's like literally it. I don't think I've ever heard of them collecting bug reports after the fact. Maybe like if people complain on their support, like on the Activision website or something. But like I'm playing COD right now. I don't know if I could find like a feedback thing in the menus. Like I'll see if I can, but I'm pretty sure there's no way for me to submit like a bug report while I'm playing the game or anything. Like I don't know if I would have to go to the Activision website or not. I don't even know what that process would be. They don't make it clear at all. They don't tell you.
So to members of my organization like Stompy and Acid, hats off to you guys for playing through 3.18 and still playing the game. Because this guy, you can tell he's not gonna last past 4.0. He says in his last line, he says games like X4 and Empyrean Galactic Survival seem to be calling for my attention. So he's already written off the game, and according to his post, I think he spent 50 plus hours is what he says. So he's
But
not even that far into the game, and he's already washing his hands of it.
but wait,
No, I
X4
think it's
X4
more
is
of
redoing their flight model. So is the game not any better than Star Citizen? I don't understand. Is
Uh,
it better? Is it different? Because it's
I
fundamental tech, I would say.
I don't
it
know.
sounds to me like he's just doing a call for attention. Like he might quit playing for a little bit and think that he's making a difference on complaining about it, and then he'll be back, and then he'll complain
be.
again.
Most
It's,
people are. I
the
mean,
way he worded this was very much a recurring complainer comment.
that and
If that
it
makes
just
sense.
sounds
I could be
to me
wrong.
like
I I mean, I was one of those. I mean, I'm not even afraid to admit it. So that's, I can pick it out where it's at.
This is the kind of person, like, for me, I had a lackluster machine, and who knows, maybe he did too. We don't know what his spec is, so we can't compare his experience to ours without knowing what his build is. Now, I would love it if Spectrum would actually require you to fill out your build specs. That way, whenever you made complaining posts and people go, "Well, that's why. Look at that. You're running a freaking an 9th gen i3.
But
Fucking
like,
get the hell
I
out of here."
agree. I fully agree with you, Kelbeck. But with this game, it even goes more specific than that. It's like, I've seen it literally come down to like you have this program installed on your C drive that's like using up memory, and it's like it's in your cache, and like that's why your game is fucking up. Like in my previous years playing this game, my last org, we had to track this problem down in this org member's laptop. Literally was like some random ass program nobody had heard of was running in the background, and when he wasn't using it, and like the game would just crash whenever he was in Microtech for no reason. And when we found that file and turned it off, it stopped the problem. So like it's not just the hardware. It like
Yeah, no.
literally
I
anything in
mean,
your computer can affect this game.
that's
Do you,
absolutely
I mean,
true.
do you all remember the pictures that I was taking? I was playing this game on an ROG Ally, albeit low low frames, but it was workable. I was playing this game on an Ally and a non Z1 Extreme variant of it at that. So if I can run it on a handheld,
I've
Yeah.
seen people running on a Steam Deck.
Hold on. Stop.
Like, if you go on the Star Citizen subreddit, you can find posts of people literally running Star Citizen through like Ubuntu or some like Linux install on their Steam Deck, and like the game runs fine.
So
It's just very finicky. I don't know what makes the game
is
work and what doesn't, but I can tell you it's not just hardware.
welcome Acid to the chat.
Hello.
yeah.
Jesus.
No, but
Hello.
Well,
Uh,
connection though. We don't know what his internet connection is, and that does play a massive factor
That
So-
in
too.
the playability of this game.
So
I'll say that at least.
I'm gonna let this post kind of marinate for a minute, and I'm gonna give Stompy and Acid a chance to kind of talk about their experiences in 3.18 and compare them to now. I'm really interested to know their contrasting comparison.
Well, I mean, like I've said to y'all before, 3.18, the day it launched was my first day ever playing and downloading this game. So I
Yeah.
got fully experienced 3.18 and it's like fullness because I was so mesmerized by what the game was before I played it that joining in and just being in the game to me was so cool. So I was like, I've heard it's buggy, so I'm expecting bugs. I knew what I was signing up for. And it was fucking shit. Like it was brutal. Like I mean, like I couldn't get off of New Babbage for about a week and a half. And I just sat there and I mean, at least in my own ship, there were a couple players that I met by like talking around that some could, but I couldn't get off. And then finally I could, but it was just like random deaths. Just wind killing me on planets, box missions killing me because I was brand new. I would do like a little box mission. Box mission kills me when I put the box in. You know what I mean? So there's like all these instances of every single thing in the game does not work. I got lucky and I could log in every day. I never got locked out. But I know that was a thing for a lot of people. A lot of people just got fucking locked out of their accounts
Following
for a
your
long
instructions.
time. And so, I mean, I got lucky on that, which that probably, if I got locked out of the account, that could have changed my view of it. But I genuinely was so excited to play this game that almost nothing was going to stand in my way. I mean, I upgraded PC components to play the game, but so I could actually play it.
Right.
But it was brutal. And like to go back to what you were saying earlier, they're like, no, anybody who says that this is worse than 3.18 is a fucking liar, and they have no idea what they're fucking talking about. Like
Right.
this is 100% better than
fully.
3.18.
I would say even further, it's like 10,000% better because you
Yeah.
can actually get in
Yep.
and play the game.
Well, barring mission functionality and the elevators, like when it comes to performance of the game, I mean, before I upgraded my GPU, like even on the 3050, it was fucking like brutal. Up and then 4.0 dropped, and like my performance on a 3050 like was stellar.
Yeah.
Like just insane.
I have to attribute a lot of that to server meshing. Just the fact that like the amount of data your client receives and sends is reduced drastically. Like if you're in Pyro, you don't get Stanton at all. If you're in Stanton, you don't get Pyro at all. If you're in Microtech, you don't get RCorp at all. You know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You only get what's relevant to your game client, like where your player is, and that has made such a huge change for performance overall.
Yeah,
It's so much
big
better.
time.
Yeah, I
one of the-
mean,
I think one of the
server frame rate that I've seen, no matter where I'm at in the verse, has been locked between 25 and 30 frames consistently.
Which is amazing. You remember when we would be lucky if it was at 5 FPS?
Yeah, basically.
Mhm.
Oh man. And keep in mind, guys, server frame rate is basically packets of data. Every frame is data, and the more the server can process, the faster it can think. The server's brain is able to process every action. So basically, it sees you coming. It can tell the NPCs that you're coming. The NPCs respond to you. Sometimes, if your client side is having problems, and the server is not, you're going to come up against situations where you end up dying randomly because your client is catching up to the data that the server is providing. The server is
Right.
thinking faster than your client can perform.
That's the problem I run into because for whatever reason, the location I am in my house, my internet connection is like really shitty to what we like speed I get. And it just the game, like I was saying earlier, I would get behind cover and I would get killed from around this corner of the cover because the server like thinks I'm somewhere else than where my game client does. That's the kind of shit that I would run into with this server meshing thing. Like it's just it's the game client, like you said.
I love this guy posts a comment in here. He says, "This is my experience," and he posts a picture, and it's a picture of the error code, lobby error code 60K30. And I love how so many people are just up in arms about, not up in arms, I guess there's a level of confusion about 60K because you had 30K. 30K was basically you disconnecting from the server. Then they brought in the replication layer. Now 30Ks only happen if you lose connection to the replication layer. And then 60Ks is basically the server saying, I don't have any more room.
Yep.
It's
Oh, yeah.
basically
Just
when you
you're done.
right click on your friend and it says join unavailable or server full or whatever it is, that's a 60K. It's telling you before you click on it that that's a 60K. So if your friend's server is full, just know that that's 60K. That would be the error you would get if you tried to load into a full server. In this case, a full shard is giving 60K 30. Right now it's happening a lot because I have a sneaking suspicion that basically right now the server cap is soft cap 500, hard cap 600, and I have a feeling that the old server cap of 100 members is somehow creeping its way in and locking certain servers, and so the server will continue to die and die and die until it hits 100 members. Because there was one server where I was getting 60K, 60K, 60K the entire time, and I eventually got in. And I wasn't paying close enough attention to know how many people were in that server, but I have a feeling that the server count dropped below 100 members,
Mhm.
and it let me in.
When it's 60K.
Yeah, so I don't know, Acid, I don't know if you've experienced it, trying to join a friend after getting disconnected because of an issue, or leaving out to menus because you're experiencing some issues you're trying to reset, and then you try and rejoin on them, and it gives you the
That code
60K
right
error.
there.
Yeah.
The
Callback.
60,000 yeah, totally. Been
Callback.
there.
I've got some real simple math for you. We have 500 player shards, right? We
Yep.
have
Well,
5
600.
servers. Okay, we have 5 servers per star system, right?
Yep.
Take the total number of players, divide it by the number of servers. That's how many players it is per server. So the server architecture, I'm assuming, is using the 50 player to 100 player, and like it will only ramp up to 100 if it needs to. For the most part, it's probably using the older 50 player configuration, right?
Well, didn't
Because
they
that would
change it?
reduce on lag.
Didn't they change it with preview? It's 3 servers per star system, 6 on a shard.
No,
No,
the config is 5.5.
I
Oh,
thought it
okay.
was
All right.
I thought it was 10.10.
No. For the preview, it's 5.5.
Hmm.
It's one
Well, for
for
like
each
example, right now we have
planet and
124
space.
people on our server and 542 on our shard. So there is over 100 people on this server, this individual server.
Nice.
I know that the config is one for each planet and one for the jump point / space.
Okay. So it is more than just
Well,
3
that
servers. There's
doesn't
a lot
add
of
up
them.
for
Yeah.
Pyro then, because there's 6 planets
Yes, it
there.
does. No, because 4 and 5 are one planetary system. They share a server. It's the
Well,
Pyro
you're
5 server.
But then you're still if you're only counting planets, then that would
No,
be 5
because you're
servers for
getting
the
too
planets, and there
pedantic with
wouldn't be
it.
one for the.
No, you're
You said
getting
you
too
said one for
pedantic with it.
you said one for the jump point.
Yes. / space. Everything that's not a planetary system.
Anyways,
Well, acid, like
I'm gonna try and find a few more. You
I
guys
won't
keep
forget
going.
like 318 either. I mean, I was still, I can't remember if I came in at 3. I think I'm pretty sure I came in before 318. I'm positive I did. But all the same, like when I first came in, it was still full of bugs. But like one of my favorite freaking things to do was to just float around in my ship, dude. I would just
Oh yeah.
gun it from one side of the system over to the other, set back, and just watch, dude. There was nothing but peace. Like,
Yeah.
just like, dude, no other game has this. Like, get up and walk
that's
around your ship and work.
well, see, and I came from strictly FPS gaming. Like I
Same.
have never played an MMO. I've never played a space game before. You know, this is the only space game I've ever played. I'm not a sci-fi person. I don't watch sci-fi movies. Like I was into this game for competition, competing against other players in whatever aspect that meant. But I knew I needed to learn it first, and I was like, well, damn, this game is beautiful. And that I did the same thing. I was like, I had to learn how to fly a ship, so I was like, I got to figure out for this fucking. And I did it with mouse and keyboard for like day 1, and then I got gifted joysticks, and I was like, well, now I'm gonna learn how to fly. And so I spent like the first like 2 months just fighting NPCs and flying, and that was like one of the only missions that really consistently worked. And I think that's a part of what kept me in. It was like back then you could do the bounty contracts, and it was like the group warrants around Crusader, and you would jump from moon to moon, and it was like just quick, easy money. And it was a great way to get used to like controlling your ship, because in that old flight model, I mean, you needed to learn that. You needed to practice. And like for people who were just strictly getting on and they would go like run a reclaimer, like we had a buddy and he would run a reclaimer, and then Stompy and I would like be like, let's go fight. And he'd pull out a ship and like insta die to an NPC, because he like never flew any small ships. He never tried anything else other than just doing the reclaimer. He was like, I have my reclaimer, I do my reclaiming things. And it was very like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it was also back then it was like, well, yeah, you're not going to be good at this because you don't ever do this. And that's, I feel like those people with that mindset, because he was frustrated with it too. You know, he'd be like, oh, it's just ridiculous. Like you can't control the ships and all that. And then even then being new, I was like, well, yeah, it just takes practice, you know, like in shooters, like with recoil and learning rotations and learning in a BR, learning the mechanics of different games, it takes practice. You cannot sit down and start tap strafe wall bouncing on people in Apex Legends day 1. Like these are mechanical skills you have to learn, and every game has them, especially when there's a skill ceiling. And this game still has a skill ceiling in different aspects. The skill ceiling is knowledge now, like knowing like things in general. Like the more you play the game, the more you learn. And like you learn trade routes, you learn what's valuable, what's not valuable, how to fix bugs, like where to go, where to buy things, what components to use. Like you learn all of this, and that is the skill ceiling of Star Citizen, which is really cool. And for a person like me who likes to like problem solve and figure those things out, it also keeps me engaged. But a lot of the people who want to go complain on a website, nah, they're like they're not that's not their thing. They're like, I'm not problem solving. I just want to relax. Which
Yeah,
it is a
Let's
I
game.
make it
agree.
more realistic. You know,
At
like,
this
it
rate,
does
this
add to the
game
realism.
requires you to problem solve or have
It does.
some kind of cognitive ability to process issues in your head and come out with results.
Mhm.
This is not an idle game. This is not like Stardew Valley. This is not the game that you come to have, relax and have fun. Maybe one day it will be when there's like farming and like you can have like a homestead and like you
You're
can
in
just
Terra.
chill out and like like be in
Yeah.
Terra, high security, and like you're hanging out and having fun. Like maybe you could do it then. But that's not the game as it exists today. And even when those things are in the game, you're on your fucking farm, you know, after using the fucking infinity stones and you're just chilling, growing your crops. The Avengers can still come in and wreck your shit. Like someone even in Terra could still attack you.
Yeah.
You're just hanging out. You know, that's the game that you sign up to play. Even if you're just a chill ass farmer who just wants to grow space weed, you know, that's your
Amen.
fucking ass is on the chopping block.
Do you know chill ass farmers who grow real weed in a real world? You know that
Right.
they still carry guns because you know what? They know that people
They
gonna
can get
rob them.
raided at any time.
That too, yeah. Like they understand what the fucking deal is.
Right. Like we're not playing around out here, and that's the kind of game that this is. It's
Yeah.
not playtime.
So I'm gonna do
See
one more
GSM
before we
comment
wrap it
about
up.
BKB.
Yeah, definitely VKBs are good sticks.
They're very
I,
good.
I went and got myself.
T16s.
I went and got myself some Purples because I'm very much a cosmetics guy, and I looked at all the buttons and the way that they, looked and felt, and I was like, I'm gonna spend extra because I think they look better.
Yeah, no, if money's not an object, I would say get Verpals just because I think they have better features, probably better build quality overall. But
Yeah.
the VKBs are also really very good. I've got
Oh, yeah, no
I got a
doubt.
pair of them.
And they're like a
Honestly,
little more
Yeah.
budget friendly, right? Too. Like that's also
They're more
I mean-
budget friendly than the Verpals, I would say.
So
I don't think
I'm-
they're that budget friendly though. They're kind
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna tell you for one stick and gimbal of Verpal, you can get 2 VKBs.
Yep.
yeah. So there is
much
a yeah.
much more budget friendly.
And technically, those
Than
VKBs
VKBs.
can just work. Like you don't have to get anything else. Like it's not going to be your most favorite setup by just putting those on your desk.
Yeah, there
you
is
could.
a default. there are default controls built into Star Citizen for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's not as much for Verpal, but they do have some profiles. Even still, so my sticks, if I had the ability to go back knowing what I know, I'd probably spend on the VKBs instead of the Verpals. But having my sticks, I'm glad I have the Verpals as opposed to the
Yeah.
VKBs. They feel really nice in the hand. But yeah, so I'm gonna go through one more post before we wrap this up, and we can trail off on comments of this post if you like. But so this guy says, here's the title. GGC. Well, I think he meant GG, but it's GZ. GZCIG. You've destroyed my pyro experience.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're on a good start here.
Yep.
I waited about 5 years for Pyro, like probably a lot of other people. I started with the 4.0 preview patch, full of enthusiasm and excitement. Buddy, you play Star Citizen and you had enthusiasm and excitement?
I mean,
Big
don't knock it,
mistake.
you know.
We all have opium.
Right?
We
Unfortunately,
don't play this game without it.
right?
Right?
You got to kill them copium to get that hopium.
Yep.
This anticipation did not last even a week. I became, okay, here's the bullet points. Shot away several times on approach during takeoff at my home location. Wait.
By the way,
Shot
GZ,
On on approach or during takeoff at my home location, which is Obituary. Shot away. Yeah, I don't understand his terminology. Shot away, but whatever. He got shot at. During the start mission on Bloom. Start mission? There's a start mission?
What start mission?
I don't know. It just says during the start missions.
I assume that he means
What?
I assume that he means the beginning of a reputational mission. The starting
wait,
mission for my
we'll
reputation.
But
go
what
with
does
that.
that mean though?
Like the
like, for
beginning,
what?
like for which
He,
specific
he,
mission
he
type?
didn't
Good
he didn't
question.
specify.
Right.
Yeah, no, he didn't specify.
It just any start mission. Okay.
Shot away during the start missions on Bloom.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
So then he says during a mission for the citizens on a moon away wait on
Or
a moon,
whalers
my
on the
waiting
moon.
ship was shot away. And then
what is he?
count.
Does he mean he's getting blown up? Like, is he
Yes.
like getting turned
Literally,
around?
yeah.
Like
Yes, that's what he means.
that's what he means by shot away. Because shot away to me, it sounds like he's like getting shot at and then just turning around.
Yeah, this
You
is
know?
Star Citizen. You
Sounds-
can
sounds
literally
like
be
he's
ejected
being
in your
like-
ship into the deep space.
Like shot away
You
does
know-
not sound like he's getting blown up.
Dude. I was like, dude, I hit just the wrong keybind at the perfect inopportune time, dude, and ejected myself
Right out,
freaking
Jay.
30 kilometers away from where I was
Yep.
going. I was like,
Oh,
oh my
dude.
god, are you freaking serious?
I've done that before mid fight, like fully being conscious of that keybind just by accident. Like it just happens, you know?
Dude, it really does. You feel like such a dumbass when you do it too. It's like,
Yeah.
what the hell? And they're like, wait, why did I do that? Why?
What I think
have
is
to
funny.
actively be pressing the right keybind to do that too, and it's not
What-
easy to reach.
I'm honestly waiting for Stompy to do this. In fact, he probably has and just hasn't said it yet. But Right Alt K and Right Alt J are right next to each other. Right Alt K unlocks your ports, and Right Alt J unlocks your seat with you in it.
How many buttons?
Right Alt J. What do you mean unlocks your seat with you in it?
Eject.
It ejects you.
No, that's right
That's
Alt.
right
Y.
out why.
Oh, is it?
That's not
Oh,
J.
sorry. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking jettison.
No, I think
Yeah.
that's right. What,
Right
I
Alt
think
Y
it used. Did it not used to be Right Alt J?
As long as I've played, it's been right Alt Y.
Either
Yeah,
way,
it's been right out why.
either way, I can
the
see
w-
someone messing that up.
By the way, GZ means congrats. It's like internet slang, like abbreviation for congratulations. It's stupid,
Well-
but that's what that means.
Well, that's a new one on
That-
me, and I've been in the internet for a
You
good
Kids
while.
and your newfangled words.
yeah.
Is
that's-
it
no,
is it sad to say that I've been in the internet since it started?
But like no. My parents have been around since before the internet started. Actually, my mom was learning how to use a computer back when they were punch cards.
Those are
If
fun.
any of you know what those are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so he goes on and says, because you start with nothing, I only had my paid equipment and a few AUEC. This is all gone now. Gone due to players acting like assholes, and why? Question mark. Yeah,
in
and why? You're in
Pyro.
Pyro. Come on, dude.
You're playing
not-
no, not
no,
even.
no,
You're
no,
you're
not-
playing a video game, bro.
Yep. Thank you,
You're playing a
Krindor. This
fucking
is why.
MMO.
Yep. This is why I love Krindor because
He-
he and I
he
think
does-
the exact same.
He does answer
his own
question, though.
You're
Dude,
playing
does-
a video game.
Go
He
play
does answer his own
fucking- go play
question.
Minecraft. Go on a public Minecraft server. You're gonna get fucking wrecked. Like you're gonna have a worse time than in Star Citizen just trying to play fucking survival on a public server. Seriously,
gets
go
better.
play
He hasn't
Minecraft.
played less.
It
is
gets
a video
better.
game with other players. That's it.
I'm not fucking kidding. It's
Hold on.
you will get griefed. Like it's,
It
it's
gets
just
better.
an online game thing.
He answers his own question. He knew what he was getting into, and he's still pissed. He says, because they can, and there are no consequences, ...
Oh yeah, that's
Right, because it's say it with me now, a video game.
yeah.
It's not real.
He goes, there are so many successful MMOs, and you haven't learned. Learned what?
Learned what?
EVE Online was a
learn-
thing for
learn
20
not-
years. They had the exact same thing. What's wrong with you?
Go play World of Warcraft. You can just get killed by a fucking level 80 whatever right now.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. All it takes is meeting the wrong fucking person. That's all it is.
And now,
mean-
now with this last comment, I don't know who he's talking to. He says, "Or were you too selfish and didn't want to learn?" Who's he talking to? The players or CIG? I'm lost now.
No, he's talking to CIG because
Yeah,
he's
he's talking to
talking about
CIG.
learning from previous MMOs. So he's
But
talking
what's
to
the
the
selfish
developers.
part?
Selfish
who
part?
the fuck knows?
They're probably making the game they want to make it as opposed to the way that he wants to make it. And if they were to make it the way he wanted them to make it, they wouldn't be selfish. But since they're making the game they want to make it the way they want to make, they're selfish for
But
doing it.
but
Go-
he's
go
being
play
selfish
Starfield.
because
I mean,
he
they're the
agreed
ones
to-
with the money, so
Oh no!
yeah, go play Starfield.
conflictions. Oh.
Go play Starfield if that's what you want. If you want an MMO that literally you can not worry about a damn thing, and
No, but they can't do that because then they don't play the game they want to play.
yeah, that's
So-
exactly it. Like,
So
I would
I
argue against his argument by saying, like, I like being a bit of a privateer, and I feel like there's more consequences to a play style than it is to be the good guy.
I'm not gonna finish this post because
Like-
he's just continuing on in his rant, and it's just more.
I
and more
want to
salt.
hear the
And don't-
ranting.
Okay, I'll read it. All right, here we
Yeah,
go.
let's go.
Yeah,
Fun.
I want to
So,
hear the ranting.
He says
I
the
want to hear
worst.
Stompy. I haven't heard Stompy in a bit.
Stompy's got his mic muted, probably ranting along like we are.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I bet he's
No,
yelling
I'm
at the
just
top of his
quiet.
voice right now.
No, I'm just focusing. Sorry.
All right, so he goes on to say the worst thing is that this is exactly what the players have been saying for a long time, and it has come true. Well, yeah, of course it's come true. We knew what Pyro was going to be, and apparently you didn't. You've been working on Pyro for years in all caps. You have knowingly failed. No, they've so
What?
far succeeded.
Failed.
With
Wait,
what?
Don't know.
the game
He did-
Pyro is out. I've been in it. I've gone through the jump gate to it several
Yeah.
times. I've woken up in checkmate. I've salvaged in Pyro. I've brought the salvage I generated from asteroid clusters over to checkmate and stored it in the cargo elevator. And like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean it's not out?
I've literally flown through Pyro, and I don't mean the universe. I mean the star. Like
Yeah,
I've
like
seen
you've
the
been to
star.
Pyro.
Like what?
I've fallen out of the jump tunnel. Like, what do you mean?
he
And
has
they kept
more.
me in Pyro.
I
So
got
I got-
stranded outside Pyro.
I got 3 more lines to read. So he says, "You always say you listen to the community, don't you? Question mark. Hopefully you have collected enough data / suffering over the holidays
Huh?
and are changing the system's lore from the ground up. It's unbearable as it is, especially as a single player. I have now retreated to Stanton. Good choice. And am keeping my distance from Pyro. Best regards."
Nice. See, they're learning.
From your
Have
really
fun.
pissed off Guardios.
Yeah, Guardios is probably that's his name. If you look
Oh,
up at the top.
yeah, I just looked up there and saw it.
I want to point out
Have fun
something
in
about
Stanton.
this. This guy has made this long of a post, right? Like this is a decently long post. He's got bullet points, he's got spacing, and all the blah blah blah. His last bullet point, it's literally his bullet point says countless other examples that I don't want to list here. Why not? You made a fucking essay anyway. Like why
Yeah,
don't you want to
dude.
list them? You're
Go
already
ahead and list 'em.
annoyed. Just keep on going.
I don't know. Based
Tell
on
us-
his name, I think he is an essay.
Racism.
I love that the majority of the reactions are the fucking clown emoji and the face palm.
Yeah, there's 111
And the
card face
baby.
palms.
Oh my
There's
God.
91 clown
palm.
emojis. There's 52 baby bottles, 40 down
Baby
votes, and
bottles.
24 middle fingers. Like there's only
Uh-huh.
55 100s. Like there's not many people who agree with him.
The fact that 55 people agree with him worries me.
Dude, I really hope that the majority of those came from CIG themselves.
It's like, all right, dude, great. Have fun in Stanton. I hope you enjoy it. We put a lot of
Welcome.
work into it.
So
Welcome to Star Citizen.
So I'm just gonna say this, okay? I run an organization, and that organization is primarily identified as an industrial organization, meaning we build stuff. At least that is the goal. We will be building stuff when we have the ability to build stuff. So we identify it as an industrial org, but we're very entrepreneurial. I think that's how you say the word.
Yeah.
And we are
Strategically
opportunists
acquired.
at heart.
We are
you know?
enterprising individuals.
Indeed. So when it comes to Pyro, we will be living in Pyro. We accept all of the hostilities that could befall us while living in Pyro. We accept all of the dangers that are inherent to the lawless star system that they have advertised from the very beginning. It was lawless. I don't know who you thought was going to come protect you, especially as a solo player, but it's clearly not going to be any kind of system security or the UEE because they're not out there. We have teeth. We have spirit. We have a backbone. Clearly, this guy does not.
And the
Right.
only people who kill us are fucking cheating. So, you know,
True, clearly. Because
Yeah.
if they kill us, they have to be bad because we're good.
No.
Right?
yeah, we're
No,
good.
Because
No,
we're so
we're-
good at the game.
They're hacking.
they're they're just griefing, guys. They're just griefing. Okay.
Yeah, they're
No,
just
no.
haters.
We don't get griefed. We're real gamers. We, you know,
No,
like
they're
you said,
just
we have a
haters.
backbone. They're just
They're just
hacking.
haters. They're just haters. Ignore the haters.
I have to ask them. I'm gonna ask. And I've wondered this. I've wondered this from the moment I started the game. Riker Memorial Station on Area 18.
Yeah.
Are they inspired from William Riker
No.
from Star Trek?
Oh, it's the name of a
No,
player.
I will tell you. Yeah, it's a player that died of cancer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I had
Yeah.
no clue.
You
but I was
sound
like,
happy
dude, I
that a
really
player
don't-
died of cancer.
It was
I'm
a
just-
player who
No,
went by the
I'm
name of
not.
Commander Riker.
Look,
Jesus, tough.
I'm sad that the guy died of cancer, but I'm happy his name was
I'm sad.
William.
Oh
But-
man.
Was his name
Yeah.
actually William?
His name in game was Commander Riker.
Mhm.
Oh,
Anyways,
that's what
I
was
am
looking
sad
for.
that he died.
So the final comment in the chat is when it comes to Pyro, I got 15 in the clip and 1 in the hole. I'm about to make some bodies turn cold.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, but all right, guys, that I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up there. Unless you guys have some more rants you want to kind of go on as we bring this to a close. You guys feeling pretty good about yourselves, or?
Shaw
Okay.
wanted me to
Rabble.
send a message on the next podcast and let everybody know that P is stored in the balls.
yeah, that's that's a message
so.
to all of those people
He's-
that we read posts from. Just I'm sure that they
Speaks
are
the
also
truth.
aware that P is stored in the balls.
Yes.
He speaks only the truth.
Only
He's
and
a
nothing
true
but the
speaker.
truth, so help him God.
Oh man.
He's an oracle
Indeed.
So help him God.
or an orca. I have no idea.
They're kind of one and the same, to be honest.
Oracle.
Dude, what? Imagine that
Oracle.
an anime, right? And it's called
And
Orca the Oracle.
Oracle.
And it's about an enlightened
Oracle,
orca
Oracle.
whale that befriends
Dark-
I don't know, a child or something. And that's pretty anime, right?
I feel like we're
Dark
getting.
Match, wanted me to say that we're a bunch of nerds. Or sorry, yeah, he said what a bunch of nerds.
True.
Well, of course we are.
Yeah, what the fuck? We're talking about Star Citizen.
Bro,
I
what
heard
is
sh-
grass?
I heard Shaw is super good looking. Yeah, no, that Aryan bastard needs to put a bag over his head or something. He's ugly as fuck.
Bro, it's a white guy with a Hawaiian accent. What more could you want in a man?
All right, guys. Well, for all of you watching, thank you for tuning in. And if you've been here since the beginning, I'm real sorry. No, really.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching this after the fact, if you're watching it now, don't forget to like and at least subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell. I think there's a bell down there somewhere.
Hit the bell icon.
Get the
That way you get notified the next time we go live, which is going to be every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Today is a bit of an off day. Yesterday was kind of a bad family day. I had to take care of some stuff, so we pushed it off to today. So we're off schedule for the very first stream of the year. I apologize. We'll be back on track next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. But all right.
Go
Thanks,
Orcas.
guys, and have a good one. Say your goodbyes, guys.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Have a beautiful time.
Boy,
Bye. Have a
Peace.
beautiful time.
stay
They call him Bob, he's flying high. Thinks he's safe just passing by. Mining rocks, stacking loot. But in the verse, there's no dispute. He sees the black, thinks it's his own. But out here, you ain't alone. A ship appears on his 6 PvP, a pirate's fix. Oh, Bob, this ain't a solo show. In the verse, you reap what you sow. You can cry, you can plead, but in Star Citizen we all bleed. So pack your salt and fly away. There's no room for Bobs today. Bob's in chat, he's raising hell. Reapers all, you're bound to fail. But out here the code is clear. Survive the fight or disappear. He calls for peace but grabs his gun. Can't accept what he's become. A privileged mind with no regard. But in this space it's playing hard. Oh, Bob, this ain't a solo show. In the verse you reap what you sow. You can cry, you can plead, but in Star Citizen we all bleed. So pack your salt and fly away. There's no room for Bobs today. In the verse the rules are tough. You think you're safe, but it's rough. No one promised you a shield. Out here we take the field. Adapt or fade, that's how it goes. No safe zones in the black we roam. Bob's drifting now, his ship is gone. Another lesson learned, but not for long. He'll respawn, he'll try again. But in this verse, it's sink or win. So to the Bobs who think they're old, remember space is a shared road. Out here it's fight or flight, and every day's a brand new fight. Oh, Bob, this ain't a solo show. In the verse you reap what you sow. You can cry, you can plead, but in Star Citizen we all bleed. So pack your salt and fly away. There's no room for Bobs today. So Bob, take heed, it's time to learn. The verse is wild, no safe return. Out here it's live or die, underneath the endless sky. So change your ways or drift alone. In Star Citizen it's the unknown. No place for privilege, no place to hide. In this universe you can't just ride. So fly on, Bob, find your way. But remember, here we all must pay.